Hi, everyone. This is Erina McWilliam Lopez with 1623 Studios, and I'm joined here today by the President and CEO of the Essex County Community Foundation, Beth Francis. The ECCF has done some incredible things in response to COVID-19 for the community, and so we're going to hear about some of that support that's going out. Thank you so much for joining us, Beth.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I know you're dealing with a lot. It's a really busy time for all of us, and I think first of all, we just love to hear about how the Community Foundation put together the COVID Response Fund in literally a matter of days, couple of weeks, and you're already starting to deploy it. So that's pretty incredible. So we'd love to hear about what that process was like and how you're prioritizing.
Sure. So as a community foundation, our mission is really to inspire philanthropy and connect charitable resources to the greatest needs that we have in our county. And so it was natural for us when the crisis was upon us to figure out a way in which we could support the needs that were happening in the county. When crisis like this happens, we get a lot of response from people who want to do something, and especially in this crisis where the social distancing didn't let you actually get your hands in the thick of it. People wanted to give, but they also want to know that where they're giving is in a trusted process and way in which those dollars are deployed. So our board quickly put together the COVID-19 response fund at the Community Foundation. We seeded that fund with $200,000 of our own giving here at the Community Foundation. And we began the process of identifying the challenges and needs and where those funds could be deployed. We also have a relationship or a history with disaster relief. We are also the organization that deployed the $24 million in charitable giving during the relief of the gas explosions in the Merrimack Valley a few years ago. And so we learned a lot along the way, and it is helping shape and inform how we strategize the dollars that we're deploying.
That's incredible. And what's top of mind for you? I know I've read that, there's a sort of a fluid assessment going on of community needs. And so based on that, what's top of mind?
So what we're seeing, and we're a big data-driven organization. So we spent the first couple of days on the phones doing a data survey with our nonprofits in our county, talking to our mayors, who we have very strong relationships with as well, and really understanding what the needs are. And so what we're seeing, what's emerging needs right now, is something that you probably wouldn't be surprised by. It's the organizations that are on the front lines. So it's our food pantries and our hunger organizations. It is our healthcare, particularly our community healthcare centers, who serve the underserved. And so they're at great needs and challenges. Individuals with disabilities and a lot of the elder services programs that are run in all of our communities. Those are the ones that need the PPE equipment, have extra costs around supplying that, are having staffing challenges as the COVID-19 crisis hits their staffing, and a need in deployment. So those are where we have focused our first round of grants in the deployment of the fund already.
Wow. And I know that you also seeded an artist fund, or I think it's the Essex Creative Community Fund, and would love to hear about insights on navigating these unique financial challenges for artists. Like, how are they navigating that? And, how did you think about when you deployed that fund, what was important to you?
Yeah, so we have what's called the Creative County Initiative. We've been committed to that for the last 4 years. It's a partnership with the Bar Foundation and 4 other community foundations in the Commonwealth. And as you can imagine, and what we see in the news is that our individual artists and our art nonprofits are substantially hit during the crisis. We just general rule as a whole, our creative community is what is oftentimes called the gig economy, and they live gig to gig, and they also supplement their income, and a lot of them supplement it in the hospitality industry, which is a double whammy for a lot of our artists and the creative community. So we deployed right away. We brought our committee together that oversees that work, and we talked about what the challenges are and the needs are, and quickly deployed an artist fund that people can give directly to. We're providing up to $400 in a grant to artists who have lost substantial income from lost gigs or lost freelance work. And oftentimes, freelancers can't qualify for unemployment, or at least historically they haven't. So they're at pretty substantial risk in falling through the gaps in this crisis. So you can go to our website at eccf.org/creative-county, and you can find a link there. And then we're also launching soon to be in a week a nonprofit arts fund as well, a grant program that our arts nonprofits can also get applications into us for potential grants for their organizations as well. You know, we feel very strongly the importance of artists in the culture and quality of life in our communities and what they bring to our lives every day here in the county. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting them. We also believe that when we come out of this crisis, it'll be our artists and creative community who bring the vibrancy back into our lives as the social distancing comes to an end at some point down the road. We want to make sure those artists are still there and are able to contribute back in our community as we come back.
It's so true. That's so important. And I think it was you who said something along the lines of these are the folks that lift us up, in everyday life and especially in times like these. So that's great to hear. And a last question is just curious about the unique work that ECCF does in terms of systems philanthropy. So curious about how that works and if that, if that approach played a role in how you're seeing things playing out now.
That's a really good question, and I'm happy you asked it. We spend a lot of time at the Community Foundation connecting our donors with the causes that they care about and understanding the challenges in the county. And we have some pretty big challenges. I'll just share one example. We have 300,000 people who live in Essex County that make below the living wage. So for a family of four, that's $80,000. They're living paycheck to paycheck, not an ability to save. Well, when you have a massive challenge like that, one individual nonprofit organization or one city who might be working on solutions is not going to move the needle. So we look at a systems approach to funding challenges. We call them strategic community leadership initiatives. And what we've learned in the last few years as we've done this work is that those deep relationships that we've been having with our mayors and our nonprofits and those that are serving our most vulnerable in the community, as an example, have been working together. We've been investing in some of that work. And so as we're coming into and out of this crisis, we're seeing those relationships, trusted relationships, being an asset as we pivot and figure out solutions amidst a crisis. I'll share just one example. In Gloucester, we have a community action agency that also runs a shelter that also works closely with a day shelter services at the Grace Center. So Action Inc. and the Grace Center and the YMCA all working closely together, and the mayor's office, all working closely together to figure out how do we take this shelter, move it, and bring services to people in a location rather than the regular way in which it's always been done, where they go from one location to another depending on the time of the day. So that meant that thought process of looking at the system and how do we each take our part and work together as a common goal has created some innovation and some solutions amidst the crisis. And so we also have a strong relationship with that community action agency in the work that we do. So we know that an investment in that is going to have a great impact in the people that they're serving. And so it's a trust relationship as well.
Absolutely. Trust is, I think I've heard, change happens at the speed of trust. So it sounds like you're, creating more trust, and that's terrific. That's amazing. Well, Beth, thank you so much for joining us. This is all really important information for the community. And again, it's tell us the website again.
Sure, you could go to ECCF.org. And then from there, you can navigate to our Creative County Initiative, our Empowering Economic Opportunity Initiative. But you can also, right on our homepage, is a COVID-19 Response Fund, which is where you can make a donation and join the 1,000 other funders that have come into the fund and help us deploy those resources in the critical ways in which our nonprofits need our support more than ever right now.
That's excellent. And is there a minimum donation, or you can just go and give whatever you can?
We have an online donation page right off of that page, and you can give whatever donation you have the ability to give. I'm getting calls now from people who are saying, I'm going to be receiving a stimulus check. I'm not so sure my family needs it. So it's something for people to think about as well. They can give any denomination in an online gift. You can also go on our website and get our address and send us a check or any sort of donation to us direct as well.
Thank you. That's great to hear, and so great to hear about the generosity in our community. So thanks again. This has been wonderful. Appreciate it, and appreciate all the amazing work that the foundation is doing.
Thanks for having me.